So in this video, I'm going to be showing a few ways to implement an interface. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create an interface, and we're going to call it on action listener. All right, and in this interface, I'm going to have a function. And whenever you have a interface that has one function, it's also known as SAM, which is a single abstract method. Just a little fun fact. That's something that is common in Kotlin and Java. So I'm going to also create a function, perform action, and in that function, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the interface, the object, and then we're going to do working, and then we're going to call this interface, and on action, so this is action that's done. And so then what you need to do is call this function like you would call any other function, and use the object keyword to reference that interface, or call that interface, and implement the members or the function in the interface. And then you can type that your work is finished, and what's going to happen is it's going to call print working and then finished work. And so if we run this code, it's working and then work finished, so it's a callback. Now there's also a way to do this a little bit more efficient. This is the typical way to do this. It's okay, but there's a way to do it that's a little bit more simpler, or a little a little better. And what you would do is you would do I just probably shouldn't have form action, and then instead of passing an object, you're going to pass a lambda. So you could pass the listener and then unit. And let's do the same thing we did before, working. And then we can call this listener. We can call listener, or we can call listener.invoke. I'll do both. And then what you would do is you would call the lambda itself instead of having all that stuff that we had before. And then if we run this now, basically gets the same result. You get working, and then you get, finished is spelled wrong, finished work. And so essentially what this is you're passing the lambda instead of passing the object, and that way you don't need to do all that stuff with object and stuff like that. So just a matter of preference. Some people like to do it the other way, other people like to do it this way, and this is what's called a trailing lambda. And so basically whenever you have a lambda that's at the end of the parameter, you can actually move it to the outside. So really this is surrounded by parameters. See, this is how it actually looks, or how it wouldn't look without the trailing lambda. And with the trailing lambda, we can actually just get rid of the parentheses, and we could also, in some cases they call it invoke instead of calling the listener itself, and it will generate the same result. So this is the two basic ways to call an interface. You can use the object keyword and then spell things out, or you can use lambdas, pass the lambda, and then call it from this lambda. All right, cool beans. Thanks.